In my last video, I was talking about when I was doing the knock sensor sub-harness, I was talking about putting in a new alternator, which I've got. It's at work at the moment. But I also ordered the Sr20det Ace alternator bracket for the Nissan Quest alternator upgrade. So here it is, very nicely packaged. Let's see, this little bag here comes with a Sr20det Ace decal sticker. It's pretty neat. You put that on the toolbox. Let's see. And a little note. Thanks for purchasing the Sr20det Ace. So pretty cool. And if you guys are interested, I'll leave a link in the description box if y'all want to upgrade your alternator, which I would highly suggest. It's going out, or even if it's not going out, it's just a good upgrade. So here is the alternator bracket. I'm at home right now, so I'm gonna drive up to work and we get started on this thing. Before I get started with the install, I still haven't left the house yet, but I just want to give you all I just want to look at it and see it before and after battery. So I got ECU talk hooked up right now, and right now it's showing 11.28 volts with just the accessories on. Car's not running. I'm gonna start the car. Alright, and that's with the car running and the accessories on. So it dropped down to about 10 volts, and I'm gonna turn the headlights on and see when it drops down from there. So the headlights on. Didn't really do much, so still sitting at about 10 volts. So, but I can see it starting to go down. The values are starting to change a little bit. But headlights back off. There we go. Now it's trying to hit 11 or so. So I'm gonna go ahead and head to the shop and get this thing started. Made it to the shop, and it is time to get started. So I'm not sure if replacing the alternator is listed in the factory service manual or not. I'm pretty sure it is, but I don't know. But it's actually a fairly easy process. There's only a few bolts there's only one tensioner bolt that you have to do to loosen up the belt, and then you just unbolt the alternator. But the very first step you want to make sure you take is to take off the battery. That's like number one. Alright, now that my battery is disconnected, the next thing I'm going to do is remove this intercooler piping right here. And I don't think it's a necessary step, but it'll actually give me a little bit more room to play with, which is never a bad thing. While I'm doing that, I got the battery over there on the charger, getting it nice and ready. But yeah. So to get the tension off the belt, there are two things you really got to do. First thing is you want to loosen up that bolt right there. I've already taken it out, but there's a bolt head right there. You want to loosen that up a little bit, and then there's a little bolt right here that you have to loosen up, and that will release the tension from the tensioner on the tensioner, and then you'll be able to take off the belt around the alternator pulley. So hopefully you all can hear that. Sorry, you all know the quality of these videos isn't top notch, especially the audio part, but yeah, that's step 2, I guess. So now we're underneath the car, and there is one 14mm bolt that needs to come out, and it's this one right here on the very bottom of the alternator. And then once you do that, you should be able to pop this little bolt out. There we go. And it should be ready to drop down. You might need a little pry bar. Alright, so now there are 2 bolts to take off the actual bracket that holds the tensioner for the alternator on it. And it's right here, this bolt right here, and this bolt right on top of it. It's a 12mm, so it's easier to reach it from the bottom. So after you take off that bracket, go on to the next step. Alright, so there's that bracket that we just took off. Pretty easy to do. Fell right off as soon as I got the 2 bolts out. So then once you got that off, get online, sell it, get you some pizza money. Here are the 2 alternators beside each other. The stock SR alternator right here, and then the Nissan Quest alternator right here. This one's slightly larger. One thing I'm going to be swapping over that I've heard you can, but you don't have to, but I'm just doing it just because, is this pulley right here. On the Nissan Quest one, there's 4 ribs, and on the Sr20, there are only 3. Sorry, 4 and 4. Guess I was wrong about that. Anyway, I'm still going to be swapping them over, just because, and I'm going to do that. It's a 24mm socket to get it off. Alright, so now I've got the Sr20 alternator pulley on, the Q45 alternator. Next thing I'm going to have to do is drill out this hole right here, because it's actually too small to fit the bottom bolt to hold it onto the Sr20 bracket. So I'm going to drill that out. But before I do that, I'm going to try to cover up this part of it right here so no metal shards or anything, metal shavings, fall down in there. So that's the next step. Now that that hole's drilled out, this bolt slides through nice and easy with no problem. So we got that out of the way. On to the next step. Here is the bracket that we're going to be using. This long bolt right here with all the spacers on it should already be set up for you, straight from Cody Ace, but if they're not, this is how it goes. And this top part right here is going to go on the back of the top part of the alternator. So I'm going to set this camera down and do it. There you go. Now that bracket's partially installed, that's how it's supposed to sit. It's sitting loosely and just waiting to tighten it all up once I get it all together. But next, we're going to take this next little bolt right here and thread it through the other side. And this one's going to go on, remember earlier when we took out that alternator bracket, or the tensioner bracket or whatever, that big black piece I told you to sell for a box of pizza? That second hole, the bottom bolt that we took out, that's where this one's going to go. So I'm going to thread that through there and we should be getting close to the end. So I just finished up with the alternator install, and overall I'd say the Cody Ace bracket is a 10 out of 10 stars. It's very well made together, put together, very easy to use and understand, especially for a beginner like me. So the car started up fine, and I'm back home now. The battery died while I was at the shop. But now that that job is done, everything seems to be working fine. There was a battery light, not a battery light, it was a brake light in the dash for, I guess, whenever you pull up the emergency brake, it was on every time I would drive. That's gone away. I guess that's Nissan's way of saying, hey, your alternator's crapping out. But that light is now off, so happy about that. So I'm home now. It's time to celebrate my victory with a lemonade from the gas station and 3 chocolate chip cookies from Subway. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions about the Cody Ace bracket, just post them and I'll do my best to answer them for you. And I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching.